Today we are taking a look at Yuuki Mikan from FuRyu Darkness. This figure is in the Trio-Try-iT figure line by FuRyu. FuRyu Darkness is a romantic comedy sci-fi series built around school life, unusual heroines, and relationship-driven chaos. Within that story, Yuuki Mikan is known as a gentle and caring presence, and she leaves a softer impression than many of the louder characters around her. That quiet kindness gives her a very distinct place in the series. Today's highlights for this figure are the slightly more mature facial impression, the small tongue sticking out with the melting blue popsicle, and the white frilled swim top with the brown cords and bright pink lower half. The first highlight is the face. The eyes are large, and the long upper eyelid lines give them a calmer shape. The yellow to brown color shift inside the irises, the light blush, and the overall balance of the facial features give the face a softer and slightly more mature impression. The second highlight is the tongue and the popsicle. A small tongue extends slightly forward beneath the mouth line, and that becomes the key point at the center of the face. Right in front of it, the blue popsicle has two melted drops underneath, so the tongue, the hand, and the item itself connect into one compact focal point. The third highlight is the outfit layout. The upper half uses a white frilled swim top with brown trim and a small tie detail at the center, while the lower half shifts into bright pink bottoms with separate brown cords around the waist. Because of that contrast, the transition from the chest area down into the waist and lower body is very easy to follow. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. The head is built around a calm expression and a hairstyle that adds movement around it. The eyes are large, and the long upper eyelid lines give them a settled shape. Inside the irises, the color shifts from yellow into brown, with a darker band toward the upper area and brighter color remaining below. Small highlights sit high in the eyes, and the light blush stays soft across the cheeks, so the center of the face feels neat and controlled. The nose is handled as a very small rise at the center, and the mouth line stays delicate. Just below that line, a small tongue extends slightly forward, creating a fine change in depth at the middle of the face and giving the expression a softer and slightly more mature impression. The hair supports that expression by surrounding the face with several clearly separated sections. Across the forehead, the bangs fall in thin, pointed front pieces, and their tips end at slightly different heights. Around the face, longer strands run down along the outer edge, with some passing in front of the cheeks, some dropping toward the neck, and some curving outward away from the body. At the top of the head, the hair parts strongly through the center, and farther back, a small tied section is gathered with a bright pink ornament. From that point, short sections spread outward in a radiating pattern, which gives the upper rear of the head a distinct silhouette. Behind that, the longer hair falls in grouped sections and separates more clearly toward the ends. The overall color reads as a muted brown, while the rear sections and especially the tips appear lighter. Clear parts are used through the longer rear sections, particularly toward the ends, so the hair keeps a lighter and more open look as it spreads outward behind the figure. The short radiating sections at the top rear and the longer flowing ends below them work together well, so the head continues to carry motion into the back of the figure. The upper body is arranged around several separate lines meeting at the chest and neck. At the neck, a brown choker circles the throat, and from its front, two thin brown cords run downward toward the upper chest. Separate from those, thin white shoulder straps sit over the shoulders and continue to the back, where they cross at the center of the open back. Along the top edge of the chest sits a brown frill, and near the center of that upper edge there is a small tied decoration. Inside that border is the white frilled swim top, so the viewer first reads the brown edging and tie detail, then the white area inside them. The white frilled swim top uses many vertical gathered lines running downward across the front. These gathers follow the rounded volume of the chest before tightening at the horizontal change under the bust. From there, the lower edge opens outward into a flared frill. That transition keeps the upper section close to the body while the lower edge moves away from it, so the surface direction changes clearly around the middle of the torso. At the front, the lower edge forms a broad wave, while farther toward the outer side it lifts more quickly, allowing the brown waist cords below to appear as a separate set of lines. Seen from the back, the white straps cross over the middle of the open back, and beneath them, the lower white frill continues across the back edge. The arm placement adds another layer to the upper body design. One arm bends sharply upward toward the face, and the wrist turns inward so the hand can hold the popsicle close to the tongue. The thumb and index finger pinch the stick, while the remaining fingers curve outward with visible spaces between them. The other arm drops more naturally and is pulled slightly behind the body, ending in a lightly closed hand placed near the thigh. On the upper arms, brown tied decorations wrap around the flesh as separate added parts, with the band itself and the knot and loop section still readable from one another. The blue popsicle near the face, with its yellow stick base and the two melted drops hanging below, becomes the clearest accent in front of the chest and ties the hand, face, and top together into one compact focal area. The lower body is arranged through a strong contrast between the brown cord lines at the waist, the bright pink bottoms below them, and the long, uninterrupted surfaces of the legs. Just under the abdomen, two thin brown cords wrap around the waist and cross near the center front. As they continue outward, they gather into a larger tied section at the side, where loops and short hanging ends are visible. The waist area therefore shows a crossing action at the front and a tied connection farther out. Beneath those cords sit the bright pink bottoms, placed low on the hips. Their upper edge runs shallowly across the lower abdomen and then rises gradually toward the leg openings. On each side, a small brown tied decoration is attached directly to the edge of the pink bottoms, so these read as separate from the larger brown waist cord knots. The abdomen itself stays simple, with a small navel at the center, making the transition from the white flared edge above to the skin and then to the pink lower section very easy to follow. The leg arrangement is also important because the two legs descend in different ways. One leg is placed more toward the center and comes down in a straighter line, while the other shifts farther outward and bends more softly through the knee. Around one thigh, two thin brown bands wrap horizontally and tie near the front, where loops and short tails hang down. This creates a sideways interruption across the long vertical flow of the leg and gives the thigh area a second focal detail beneath the waist. Around one ankle, a thicker brown ring encircles the leg as a much simpler form, placing another short boundary near the bottom. At the feet, the sandals use wide clear straps across the top of the foot and thicker soles below. because the toes remain visible, the transition from the skin of the legs into the footwear stays easy to read. The foot placed more toward the center faces forward more directly, while the one shifted outward shows a stronger directional angle from heel to toe. Altogether, the lower half combines the crossed waist cords, the side knots, the bright pink bottoms, the tied thigh bands, the ankle ring, and the sandals into a very readable lower body layout. This figure is approximately 20 centimeters tall. That's about 7.9 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Yuuki Mikan by FuRyu stands out because this figure brings together a calm expression, a small tongue and popsicle detail at the mouth, flowing long hair, and a swimsuit layout that stays very easy to follow from top to bottom. The face leaves a soft first impression. The long upper eyelid lines and the yellow to brown irises keep the eyes large while also giving them a settled look, and the light blush helps the face stay gentle rather than overly busy. The small tongue extending just below the mouth line adds a compact point of detail at the center and gives the expression a slightly more mature impression. The hair strengthens that presentation very effectively. The bangs are divided into pointed front sections across the forehead, while longer framing strands fall along the outer edge of the face and neck. At the top rear, the small tied section with the bright pink ornament creates a compact accent, and from there the shorter radiating sections lead naturally into the long hair flowing down the back. Clear parts are used in the longer rear sections, especially toward the ends, so the flowing silhouette stays light as the hair spreads outward behind the figure. The upper body works well because the outfit layout is easy to read. The brown choker, the two front cords, the brown upper frill, and the central tie detail all sit separately over the chest area. Inside them, the white frilled swim top uses vertical gathers and then opens outward below the bust, so the surface changes from close-fitting to flared very clearly. The arm raised toward the face and the other arm pulled slightly behind the body also help the upper half avoid a flat look, while the blue popsicle becomes a strong accent in front of the chest. The lower body carries that clarity downward. The two brown waist cords cross at the front and tie farther out, while the bright pink bottoms sit lower on the hips and keep their own separate brown tie details at the sides. The legs descend in different directions, so the lower half gains variety through shifting lines. The tied bands around the thigh, the ring at the ankle, and the sandals with clear straps continue to divide the long leg lines into smaller readable sections. What makes the figure especially effective is the way all of these elements connect. The eye can move from the face to the popsicle, down through the white frilled top and brown waist cords, into the bright pink lower section and leg accessories, and then return upward through the long hair spreading behind the figure. Because of that, fans of To Love Ru Darkness or Yuuki Mikan should find this piece very appealing. Collectors who enjoy calm expressions, small tongue and popsicle details, and swimsuit figures with clearly layered outfit layouts should find it a very satisfying addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.